Today we're going to be doing an interview session and a presentation with Catherine from Slice Marketing. So just go ahead and introduce yourself, Catherine, and we'll get this thing going.
Yes, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be here and an honor at the same time. My name is Catherine Oakes, and I am the founder and CEO of Slice Marketing. That is a whole brand and marketing agency that I started about 5 years ago with the goal to help businesses achieve highest level of marketing efficiency without spending their whole bank account. So very nice to meet you all.
Thank you for that. So tell me a little bit about your background and kind of how you got into marketing and the formation of Slice overall.
Yes, sure. Well, I'm originally from France. As you can hear in my voice, it's hard to hide. I was born in Grenoble, France, and I traveled the world for a long time, working for a lot of different companies in marketing and sales. I spent a lot of time in Asia Pacific. I lived in Hong Kong for a few years. I did a lot of work in Bahrain, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Northern Africa, worked all over Europe for a variety of industries in the marketing and sales field, including a fashion industry, including big industrial parts, including industrial diamond as well. And I have an MBA in marketing, and I left France, I think it was in about 1995, to travel. Went to the United States as well, and moved here in 1998 fully to become an American citizen. And when I came to the United States, my goal was to become a full-rounded marketer. So I learned everything about the internet, about graphic design, about web design, which is what I did. And Slice Marketing was launched about 5 years ago because I had been on the other side working with agencies, and I thought that agencies were charging a lot more money than I wanted to spend, and I did not see the results that I was expecting. So my mission was to assist small and larger sized businesses create outstanding marketing strategies, but also create powerful brands so that they could deliver services to their own clients, but also make a big impact in the world at affordable prices. So that was my mission. That is still my mission. I am now focusing a lot more on solidifying brands because of the shift that has happened in the past year because of COVID, but I will be talking about this. But ultimately, I am here to assist impacting the world positively with a lot more authenticity and with a lot of integrity and ethics.
You have a really cool background.
Well, thank you.
So with all of your traveling, kind of what was a few of your favorite projects and a few of your favorite locations that you had visited while you were working?
Yeah, well, I have to tell you that I had pretty incredible experiences when I had to spend a lot of time in Bahrain. I decided to explore that area of the world because my mission was to save a French company that was manufacturing big cast iron parts for the railroad industry. And they challenged me in developing markets internationally because the French economy was not doing very well and the company was going to go bankrupt. So I decided to go to countries, first of all, that did not like to do business with women, because as you know, in marketing, you have to stand out, but also countries that needed our products and that could afford our products. So I went to Bahrain, Dubai, and Saudi Arabia to prospect with government agencies and big government industries there to sell our products. And I can tell you that's something I will always remember. The first time I went there, I sat down at the table of about 25 men, all dressed in their long white robes, and I was 25 at the time, trying to sell them cast iron parts. It took about 5 visits for them to actually believe that I was able to do the job that I promised I would be doing. And build a relationship with them. But the first meeting was something I think I will always remember, as they asked me, "Where's your boss?" and did not want to start the conversation until I finally had to convince them that I was the boss.
That's awesome. That would definitely be a little scary for me if I was in that situation. So it sounds like you work pretty well under pressure then.
Oh yeah, lots of pressure, but like I said, in marketing you have to find a way to stand out, to be memorable, and sometimes you have to take some risks. As long as those risks are ethical, this is big for me, but I think risk-taking in marketing typically pays off if it's done right.
So are you a one-person team? Do you make your website and everything, or does Slice have an employee base?
Yes, so Slice has a model now where I am the only employee, but I have a big team of subcontractors. I mean, they are now partners because I've been working with them for a long, long time. And this model allows me to be a lot more nimble. Whenever I work with a new client, I know where to pick the right team so that I can deliver an optimized service that is going to cater to their needs. So that's my model.
How many team members do you think help you out with managing Slice and all of the different accounts and marketing things that you guys do there?
Altogether, I have a team of about 15 people right now.
That's
And
great.
they are spread all over the world. I have clients in Europe. I have clients all over the United States. So that gives me, again, lots of flexibility, but then I can grow really easily if need be. But that's what it is at this point, yes.
Yeah, and we're in such a tech era. It seems like a lot of people are moving toward that kind of contracting relationship where people have the freedom to just work from their homes, their own computers,
Yeah.
and it takes out office costs and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, people can work from anywhere nowadays as long as they have a computer, right? So that's very beneficial actually, because if I have a new client in one specific area where I don't have any staff or any help, then it's really easy to find someone there in case a physical location is necessary, which can happen.
Tell me a little bit about you as a child. So, like, what was your childhood passion, and how has that changed over the years, and how has that intertwined with what you have taken?
I love that question. It's interesting because at the age of 5 years old, I said to my mother that I did not belong in France. I already knew that I had to explore the world, and that has been my life since then. I am an explorer, but I am an artist at heart, and I will share in my presentation some of the art I'm doing. And the reason why I want to share this is to explain the differentiators that I offer to my clients, because as an artist, I always look at the aesthetic of a brand. A brand is not just a logo. A brand is how we present ourselves to the world, how the world perceives us, but also, and most importantly, the graphic representation of what we are trying to express. So by being an artist myself, I am able to represent the words and the core communication points that I develop for my clients, so that we can build a holistic presentation that makes sense to their core audience. So I have drawn and designed and painted all my life, and I will share some of my work because it's a great way of communicating something important in a way that is less threatening.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of your stuff in your presentation. I wasn't aware of that you were an artist, but I'm sure that can help your clients a lot when they're trying to develop a look for, like you said, their brand or their website. So
yeah, it's
I guess who or what gave you the inspiration to start Slice?
What gives me inspiration? I want to make a difference in the world. My goal, and I understand that more and more, and I'm doing this more and more, my goal is to inspire others to become their full self. A lot of people are scared of exploring what they know deep inside, that when they know who they are deep inside. So my goal is to help them explore their true self, so that they can go after their dreams and build their freedom. And I've always been like that. What fulfills me when I work with someone is to see the results I'm bringing them, to see not only that they are growing their business, but that they are feeling the change in themselves so that they can themselves impact the world a lot better than they would have otherwise. And that is what rewards me. This is why I do what I do. It's not just for the sake of designing something beautiful. It is for the sake of truly impacting others so that they can impact their own world and make a big positive difference in the world.
That's a really great mission. Sounds like you're doing a lot more than just marketing.
Well, yeah, marketing is just a tool. Marketing is allowing me to, first of all, connect with amazing people, but have that impact that I want to have, because you know, we have to be there for others, especially now after COVID. You know, there's a need for help out there. There's a cry for help out there. And this is what I want to do. And I can do it with marketing, but I can also do it by providing life coaching services, because, you know, I'm not born yesterday and I've learned a lot. And this is why in my presentation I speak about, excuse me, I speak about personal branding too, because when you're a business owner, business leader, you have to understand yourself well in order to be able to use all your assets in your work. And when you bring those two together, it makes you a lot more powerful. So I always, when I spend time with my new clients, I ask hard questions so that I help them unveil the core essence of who they are, so that they can use that in their branding and in their communication, and add that in their marketing materials, and that's part of their overall vision. So it's again, I call it whole brand marketing, because it is wholesome. It is forcing my clients to look at the way the world sees them, or the way they want the world to see them, in a holistic fashion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm 26, and I feel like I didn't even have any kind of awareness or focus on self-growth maybe up until just 5 years ago. Like, I was always so hyper-focused on what am I going to do with my career, what's my 5-year plan, but it was never really about me. It was more of, you know, where am I going and that kind of thing. So I really think your message and your vision can help a lot of people in my age range who are just kind of finding out, kind of, you know, like I said, that self-growth and focusing more on yourself.
You're right, Ciara. Obviously, your generation is a generation that I want to help more. But you know, we have this type of questioning at any age. It can happen at the age of 50, it can happen at the age of 70, because it's never too late to reinvent oneself.
Mm-hmm.
Key is to set aside the fears, right? Sometimes we are forced to drastically change the way we live, the way we work, the way we think. Look at what just happened with COVID-19.
Yeah,
we have been forced to change everything we are, and we didn't have much time to get ready for that, did we?
So yeah, I think that hit everybody pretty quickly, unexpected.
Yeah, and this is why this is my mission in life, is to provide a mirror to you, a mirror to people who are interested in progressing in their life, is interested in growing, and need somebody by their side to help them do so, because it's scary. It's not easy to do. It's a tough process, but it's a process that will generate incredible discoveries, incredible results, and that will impact everyone around you.
Yeah, so tell me about, I want to hear about maybe something that has challenged you, or a negative experience or a failure along the way that at the time you were like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, but as you look back, you have maybe learned something or gained something from that experience.
Oh, how much time do you have? Because I have lots of failures I can talk about. But
Just
I'm going to talk about
one.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about one that really was a very challenging one for me. Prior to Slice, I built an agency. It was a digital agency called Image Base International, and it was in 2006 where I launched it. I was in Reno, Nevada then, and I was representing a French company that was selling digital media software. And we did very well. We grew the company the first year very well. The second year, I even had large corporations, including General Electric as a client, with great perspectives of growth. And then 2018 happened, and you can only imagine what happened there. 2008, not 2018. 2008 happened when the big economic crash fell onto us. And I got a call one after the other. My client called me and said, we cancel. I lost everything. I literally lost everything. I had bet everything on that company. I lost my home. I lost my company. I lost all my savings. The only thing I had not lost was my heart and my soul. But I can tell you at that moment, I found myself sitting on the floor of my living room, wondering if I was ever going to be able to get back up on my feet again. I wanted to be buried 10 feet under the ground because I was ashamed of failure, ashamed of not being able to predict what just happened. And that time really forced me to look deep inside and find strengths that I did not know I had. And what helped me lift myself up again was my belief in God.
That's really inspirational.
My faith is what saved me, and I eventually, you get back on your feet, you learn from your mistakes, you have developed strengths that, like I said, you didn't have before, which give you some fuel to tackle the next big project. So now with Slice that I started 5 years ago, I can tell you that my learning has helped me dramatically establish very solid roots for Slice marketing and grow it to where I wanted to go, and do it also by establishing certain elements of protection, right?
Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing your story. Really appreciate that. So I'll just ask one more little fun question and then kind of let you take it away and go into your presentation. I'm excited to see what you have to show us and all of your art and what you're doing with your company.
Sure.
How did you come up with the name? And then I'll let you answer that and then kind of take it away.
Yeah, no, well, I was looking for something unique, and my mission was to grow my clients' market Slice, right?
Got it.
I thought Slice would be perfect for this, and because Slice with just an I was taken, I decided to add a second I and make it memorable so that it looks like the Google of the social media world, right? Slice with two I's. That's the story.
Sure. Yeah, I love that too. It didn't stop you or slow you down at all. You just said, I'm going to add another I and keep on going with the name I want.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's something that's memorable too. Like I said, you have to be memorable, but it made sense because the goal is always to grow market shares, market slices.
Awesome. Well, let's get into your presentation, and thank you for taking the time to answer all my interview questions. I had a lot of fun learning about you and looking forward to learning some more.
Thank you, Ciara. It was great. Thank you.
I'm sharing the screen now.
Okay.
And here you go. Please share your screen.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Yep. All right, so like I said, Slice is all about whole brand marketing, and by defining and finding your whole brand, we have to look deeply into what's inside your marketing, hence the question here. Okay, so I've given you a lot of information already during your question, Ciara, but here, just a quick summary of who I am. Like I said, it's an honor for me to be here. Today, I'm going to be speaking about how to build an authentic and actualized brand to meet new societal needs, because needs have changed. And I'm also going to talk about why it's so important that the process involves some personal branding, as the two of them have to mesh together for optimum results. So I love when sessions are interactive. I know we don't have too many participants today yet, but I love it when people ask questions, so don't hesitate to interrupt me and ask questions or make comments during my presentation. It makes it more interesting. So here quickly, like I said, I've already talked about this, some information about me. I immigrated to the US in 1998. I have an MBA in marketing. I'm a professor of international marketing. I speak several languages because I work with a lot of different companies over the world. I won my first company, ImageBase, won the best startup in Northern Nevada in 2000. Sorry, it's not 17, it's 2007. That's a typo here. I also made the first round at Shark Tank with a product I invented, lampshade. So that was also an interesting experience. I wrote 3 books. One is underway. My core values are authenticity, integrity, truth, care, faith, and positivity. That's important for me to live by those. My core beliefs is I believe in doing things righteously, to be in sync with spirit, not for individual gains, but for community gains. That's very important for me. And then my mission is to help individuals and companies uncover their whole self and find their truth so that they can find and build healthy, authentic communities and create freedom. So again, quick summary on me. Why is it important? Because this is how I do business. This is how I'm going to treat my clients. And these are always the end results that I have in mind when I start working on a new project. Okay, so quickly, here are my books. I'm not going to spend much time on this because I want to get into the subject matter, and they're all on Amazon. And here is my art. So I'm using some of my art. I use and I draw a lot of women's faces because I think that women are going to have a lot more power in the future. So here I'm drawing and trying to showcase various expressions of women that can unveil their power and future power. So this is why I paint women's faces. And again, why I'm sharing this is because I always have a very strong artistic eye when I build a brand or when I strengthen a brand or when I optimize some brand components for my clients.
What are you using in your drawings?
So these are all pastel. Let me go up, sorry, let me go up here. Sorry. These are all pastel colors that I use, but I paint with different medium. I do oil painting, but in this case, these are all pastel, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, so here's my favorite quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. He says, if we possess our why of life, we can put up with almost any how. And I'm sure all of you are very familiar with Simon Sinek's Start with Why. He got it, he made that discovery or that realization a few years ago now, but it is so true because unless we understand our why and our purpose, it's really difficult to fully explore what we can do and how we can do it in life. So I love this quote. Okay, so let's start now about my true purpose. My true purpose is to actualize the essence of your brand so you stay relevant. Here are a few key words that I would like to emphasize. Actualizing your brand is very important because COVID has changed a lot of things, a lot of the ways that we live our lives and that we think. And because of that, needs have changed, and I'm going to address that in another slide. Our essential needs have changed and have evolved. And most of the time, the communication points, the value proposition that companies had before COVID has lost its relevancy. It needs to be revamped, it needs to be actualized, and it needs to be redeveloped so that it makes sense to your core audience, so that it resonates with your core audience. And here I'm showing a tree with roots because the actualization of your brand, creating the essence of your brand is really the roots of a tree. It is creating foundation of good marketing, which will allow the tree branches to grow and the leaves to become alive. So branding, good branding, actualized branding is essential for optimized marketing now that we are after COVID, almost after COVID. So it's important to be aware of that so that you can do the work to actualize your communication. Okay, so what's a brand? Just a quick reminder, a brand is the way a company, organization, or individual is perceived, and that's another key word, perceived by those who experience it. It's more than a name, a term, a design, or a symbol. A brand is the recognizable feeling a product or a business evokes. And that's all about that. If someone feels something when they see your brand, you have to make sure, or you have to do everything you can to make sure that it is the right feeling. And it has to be a feeling that's going to trigger the action you want your audience to take. So understanding that and making sure it is the right one is critical, because brands are perceptions, right? And here is what Jeff Bezos said: your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So that also gives another perspective as to, it's not what we think about our brand, is how we know, because we have done the research, is how we know your audience is perceiving you, because the way they perceive you is going to draw results, is going to change outcomes, and make your company very successful or not so successful. So having that awareness is very important. So branding reset, that's my job. I'm here to help you reset your branding, because at your brand's core is value and character. And that's my question to you. Have you looked at your value and your character? Is this still relevant today? Is your story still resonating with the people that you're trying to impact here, your clients, right? So if they match, your customers will trust you, and they will trust that you can deliver your brand promise. And in marketing, trust is critical. If you cannot establish that trust, you're going to lose a lot of options and a lot of market shares, because there is a lack of syncing, between your value, your character, and what you actually offer to your clients.
I want to stop you for just a minute. We have just some audience participation going on here. We have somebody that says, perception is reality. Any thoughts?
Say that again.
Perception is reality. Any thoughts?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Perception is reality. And that's the one thing that we have as a business owner. You have to accept it, because I'm seeing some people, look at an analysis we do and recommendations, and they say, yeah, but this, they don't understand it. It is not true. They are misunderstanding who we are. Well, if there is a misunderstanding, it's not their fault. It is our fault as marketers. So perception, because perception is reality, we have to ensure that we are creating the right perception. So absolutely.
And then we also have another comment from same person in the audience: sell value and not price. Agreed? Would you agree with that statement?
So Sierra, I can't hear you very well. Say that again.
We have another comment from the audience that says sell value and not price. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sell on value, absolutely. That's what people want to see. You have to offer value, because if you offer value, price does not matter as much. Of course, you have to be competitive, but if your value proposition or the value of your product or service is higher and better than your competitors, guess what? People are going to spend the extra money, because then price is not as relevant, as critical. So absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, I encourage you guys to keep asking questions and keep putting comments in the box, and we can.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Keep them coming. Okay, let's continue here. Okay, so here, the COVID-19 effect. So the virus has dramatically modified the way people think and act. It has created a need to reposition our marketing approach to meet psychological needs that have evolved. Our brain has been modified forever. And it's not me saying it, it's science proving it. I have many clients that are in that field and that know and that are using the knowledge that we have now to modify what they are doing so that it is more relevant to the world as it is now, because the world is now a changed society. And I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with the Maslow Hierarchy of Needs. Our needs have changed. So there's a shift here that has occurred that we need to address in our marketing effort, in our communication effort. Needs before COVID, they were right there. Self-actualization at the very top. Everything was doing great. You know, the businesses were booming, people were making money, they all had their homes, they were eating as much as they wanted to, they were spending money in clothing, traveling all over the world. That was the needs, the self-actualization. So communication in marketing had to address those needs, right? It's the desire to become the most that one can be. That then was efficient marketing. So where are we now? What would you say? I'd love to hear your feedback.
Coming from me, oh my gosh, marketing is not my niche. I think I'll let you take it away on that one.
So take a guess. Well, if nobody wants to take a guess, I'm going to tell you, okay? This is where we are now. Look, went back right down, almost to the very basic physiological needs. Needs after COVID are safety needs. People are now, they want personal security, they want employment, they want resources, they want health, they want property. Look at what's happening in the housing market right now.
Yeah.
You know, homes are sold in one day. You know, you're trying to buy a home, you don't find a home. You're trying to rent a place, it's very difficult to rent a place. Why? Because people are back to this very basic safety needs that they did not have before. Because before it was just a given, right? They didn't worry about this. So now the needs after COVID has changed dramatically. So what does that do to your marketing? I bet you that your marketing communication points are not relevant anymore because of that shift. And this is why it's so critical to take a very close look at your marketing materials, at your headlines on your website, at the way you present your information, at the type of pictures and graphics you use in your marketing materials, sometimes at the colors that you're using, because those everything you have done may now be seen as something that is aggressive, that is creating the wrong perception, that is creating feelings of fear and anxiety. And that's exactly what you don't want. You now have to, if you want to be successful in marketing, you have to perpetrate and generate feeling of safety, feelings of warmth, feelings of love, feelings of we are here for you. Communication that would say something like, I will take you by your hand and take you where you need to go, right? So the whole landscape of communication has changed dramatically. And those that don't address it right now are going to suffer. They are going to lose some clients, they are going to lose market shares, they are going to become irrelevant. So that's really important to first become aware of that and then evaluate how you can make that shift, but start working on this right now if you haven't yet.
I'm going to pop in real quick with another question from the audience. I'm loving this. Thank you. Says, what are some of the key takeaways for sales prospecting for new customers?
So let me repeat it. What are the key takeaways to prospect new clients?
For sales prospecting for new customers.
For sales prospecting for new customers. First of all, you have to make sure that you have the right core customer. And I always go back to this when I start with a new client, because sometimes you think you know your core audience, but you may not, because that too may have changed, right? Your age group may have changed, their habits may have changed. So the first work to do if you want to generate more sales is to go after the right core audience. And I'm going to talk about this too, because typically your core audience is about 20% of your overall audience. And that 20% should generate 80% of your revenue. So you have to understand exactly who your core audience is and hyper target on them, addressing their pain points. And I bet you their pain points are new pain points now, not the same ones that they had before COVID. That's how you're going to make a dent and grow your sales and do it systematically. But you have to go back to that analysis in order to be fully efficient. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, just put them in the box and we'll keep going through.
Okay, let's continue. So here's the $1 million question I have for you. Who is the actualized you? And how does your brand address the new societal needs? Very important. Go back to the core of who you are, the core of your services, and the core of what your products do for your clients. And how do you address their needs? How do you address their new pain points? This is a very important question, or two important questions to answer, because that will be the foundation to your communication going forward, at least for a couple of years. Okay, so then those questions are going to take you to the next step, which is unveiling your brand's core persona. It's not about being better than others, it's about being different. You have to define your new value. You have to differentiate yourself from your competitors by offering something different. And it can be customer service, or it can be a value proposition that is energizing your crowds, that is inspiring your crowds. Like I said before, people need to be inspired now. They want inspiration, they want entertainment, and they want a body next to them that's going to make them feel good. So you have to first understand how you connect with your audience, right? Your core values, your motivations, the modes of service that resonate with your clients. Those have to be very clearly defined and redefined now. Then you have to match your brand traits to your customers' desires and needs. Like I said, what are they? Have they shifted? So consider what type of character most naturally responds to the core sets of problems you resolve for your clients. Then you have to mix and match for an authentic brand, right? Just like real people, a corporate brand needs to be flexible and multifaceted, especially nowadays. You have to show flexibility because you're going to probably encounter different type of needs out there, or different type of new expectations. And you have to understand what they are. All of that is going to allow you to build a very unique brand personality, and one that's going to match the needs of today's time. Right? The most traditional and classic example of a well-developed brand personality is a corporate mascot or a spokesperson, or a conceptual avatar, and that's another one, a great place to start. So these are just ideas, but key is to define those core components. And I don't know if you are all aware of what Sally Hogshead, who is a leading entity in the branding world, did, but she created the How to Fascinate. It's a personality test. I would highly encourage you to do it. It's going to give you some great insight on yourself as a business person, but yourself as just a person. And that information may help you in building a value proposition for your business or for the company that you work with. And that's going to make it very, very powerful, because it will be based on some of your core personality traits, that inevitably will be impacted or will impact the way you do business and the way you communicate. So I encourage you to take that test. You just go to howtofascinate.com. Take it, and you'll love the results. It's a fascinating process, and it's fun too. Okay, so here's something that Sally also developed, and that's something that I wanted to share with you, that I use at Slice Marketing to define my clients' core values and brand positioning. Of course, we have lots of questions that we go over before we use that graph. But you can see here that graph, you have the primary advantages of a company here, and then you have the secondary advantages at the top. And those have been organized by Sally in 7 different sections. Your primary advantage as a company can be that you are an innovation, meaning you change the game with creativity. Or it can be passion, because you connect with emotion. Or it can be power, because you lead with command. Or prestige, because you earn respect with higher standards. Or trust, because trust is critical in your business and you build loyalty with consistency. Or you can be the mystique, where you communicate with substance. Or finally, you can be the alert, where you prevent problems with care. So our process and analysis help us determine who you are among those 7 qualificatives here and determine what is your primary advantage when we work on your secondary advantage. And for example, if your primary advantage is passion and your secondary advantage is prestige, you're going to be the talent, right? You're going to be expressive, stylish, and emotionally intelligent. Once we determine this, then we can start developing those key communication points in a style that will, again, cater to your audience, right? So that's a chart I'm using and we're using at Slice Marketing to define your brand positioning, to define your brand core values. And that help us create then content for your website, for your flyers, and content that's going to be meeting your core values, meeting your goals, and meeting what your clients are expecting from you, which is very important. So here are some details on those 7 categories, right? So for example, if you are in the innovation, this is Sally has discovered that. She has spent years analyzing all of this to come up with this graph. So this is a result of a lot of hard work from her. Innovation, you're creative, visionary, and entrepreneurial. You change the game. Who you are, you're creative, visionary, and entrepreneurial again. And how you fascinate, you invent creative solutions that tweak tradition, right? So she gives us here a roadmap to establish communication points that are going to be powerful and help us achieve our goals. So again, that's something that we use at Slice Marketing to create content for our clients. Okay, let me talk quickly about the branding process here. Again, like I mentioned before, my goal is to help you identify your why, because without your why, you are not going to be as efficient as you could in your marketing efforts. And the goal is to define a clear expression of what your company is most passionate about. The reason why you get up every day, I want to know. I want to know as an individual, why do you get up every day? If you can't answer this very quickly, then you need to think about this, because it's a very important question to answer. What is your purpose for existing? Your purpose for existing may match the purpose of your company or the company that you work for, in which case, fantastic, right? It's a double hit here. What values does your business provide? Have you looked at this recently? Have you asked your clients? Ask them. You know, it's important to poll your clients on a regular basis to ask them how they see yourself, how they see your company, how they believe that you're helping them. You may get a lot of very valuable information from them that will motivate you to potentially tweak your messaging. What is your mission? Right? What is not here? What is your BHAG? Right? The big, hairy, audacious goal. That's important to know where you want to go, not just on a short term, but in a long term, because that will help you establish strategies to get there. And again, strategies change. You know, when I hear people tell me, oh, we've created our vision, our mission 10 years ago, we know what our BHAG is, we are good, it's been working up to now, we're not going to change it. Great, it's been working up to now, is it going to work going forward? No guarantee, right? So that mindset is a very dangerous mindset. You now have to be open-minded enough to be able to reevaluate everything you've done, even if you have been very successful, because the guarantee of you being successful going forward is gone. So open up your mind and reevaluate what you have. Then we work on your unique selling proposition. You know, the unique selling proposition, or USP, is really the differentiator. What will differentiate you from your competition? I want to know what do they do well, your competitors? Where do they fail? Again, that may change, that may have changed, or you may have lost some competitors last year, who knows? Or you may have some new entrants in the market, in which case you have to understand who they are so that you can compare your offerings, your service, your pricing with them, and come up with something that's going to put you forward and differentiate you from them in ways, again, that are going to be impacting your clients in the right way. So again, that's something to reevaluate, because the landscape has changed. And I use this little spreadsheet here typically when I do some competitive analysis, where I look at everything that your competitors are doing, the messages, the visuals, the quality of their products, how it is perceived. Again, it's perception here. And we understand perception because we look at their testimonials. What are the reviews? What are the mentions? You know, what type of marketing efforts are they focusing on? All of those answers are going to help you create some differentiators that will be actualized and that will be relevant. So that's a tool I'm using. Okay, then you have to outline the key benefits of your brand. Here's an example of Apple. The quality is clean design, the key benefit is easy to use, and the slogan is think different. So all of that has to be clear, limpid in your company. You know, and again, you have to address whether it is still relevant, whatever you have. We don't change slogans easily because it can impact results, right? I don't see Apple changing slogans right now. But in some cases, it is something that is necessary because the slogan potentially can become irrelevant, right? So something to always look at. What are the key benefits of your brand, and is your slogan still actual and relevant?
How do you work with the client to kind of meet in the middle to make sure that their vision of their brand is being kind of reached, but also, you know what needs to be a part of it, you know it needs to go into it. How do you kind of do that to make everything piece together?
So a lot of different things. We do an evaluation of the competition. We do an evaluation of the landscape. We look at what they do, what works, and then it has to be done with data too, right? I cannot tell my clients, you know, I think that's the way you have to do it. We have to prove it with data. So there's research done that's going to give them enough information to have a realistic picture of where they're at now or what the landscape is now, so that they can themselves come to the realization that an update may be needed or some slight changes may be needed. But they have to come up with that realization with the information that we provide them.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's another canvas. I'm sure some of you are very aware of. It's called the value proposition canvas that we use as well. And that's something that we present our clients as well to show them where they stand in the marketplace. You know, what are the gains? And the gains, this is from a customer standpoint, right? How do your clients gain from your service and products? What are their pain points? You know, and then you define here the customer job. What does your customer have to do with the products and services that you offer them? You know, once you define the gain, the pains, and their jobs, you can now come up with pain relievers. The pain relievers are really the base of your, or should be at least, the base of your communication. You have to address pain points. That's what matters to your clients. They don't want to know whether you are the most handsome one, the smartest person on earth, or that you own the most beautiful car on the planet. They don't care about that. They care about how you can solve their problems. So identifying the key pain relievers of your core audience is going to be dramatically impacting your results. Gain creators, you know, if they use your products or services, how are they going to gain from it? That needs to be clearly defined as well, and that also has to be part of your communication points. And then their products and services, here you have to look at that and how you can leverage their products and services and improve them thanks to your services and products. So that's a great tool that we use all the time to come up with those key communication points, with those differentiators that are going to be relevant to your audience and that are going to create the right call to action, right? Whether it's calling someone, whether it's making a sales online, whether it's having a webinar. I mean, these are key communication points that will address what they need when they need it. Okay, here's another principle that we use all the time, and I did mention it before, the Pareto principle, which is, 20% of your clients typically are going to bring you 80% of your revenue. And the Pareto principle can be used for a lot of different reasons, right? It can be used for, 80% of 20% of what you eat is going to create 80% of your health. I mean, that's something that you can use for a lot of different reasons, but it is typically true. So this is why your message should be hyper focusing on those 20%, because they are your core audience. What's really important to understand here is that you cannot be everything to everyone, or if you try to be the jack of all trades, your message is going to be diluted and it's not going to be efficient. Your message needs to be hyper targeted to your audience. And in order to have a solid, powerful message, you have to address your core audience's pain points, just like I mentioned before. That will change your results and your outcome in ways that you cannot even imagine. It's so powerful when it's done right that it blows my clients' mind. So something to address, especially nowadays. Right, so once everything is done that I mentioned before, you can now form your brand voice. And we will understand what the brand voice needs to be because we understand the landscape, we understand the core clients, we understand our unique differentiators, our strengths and our weaknesses. We understand the landscape and the economic situation that we have to involve in. Now we can understand whether our brand voice can be professional, friendly, service-oriented, authoritative, technical, promotional, conversational, or informative. These are just examples. But then once you have that tone of voice, you can create a style that will be memorable to your audience and a style that they will love, a style that will create the right emotions and that will trigger something in them that will make them become your brand aficionados, right? Your brand lovers and brand supporters that will promote your message even further because you have sold them. So your brand voice here is very important and it has to match everything else that you're doing as well. So for example, here, the brand voice for Virgin America is friendly and reliable customer service. Their style is personable, using location-based humor. Humor is big for them. And the value is bringing power outlets on every flight, right? So for your company, you need to come up with those qualifications here. And they have to be very, very clear. Okay, and then once you have all of this, we can finally go into more detailed brand messages. Okay, so the brand message has to always talk about who you are, what you offer, and why people should care. And that's the most important thing. You have to address why they should care. And that's why understanding your audience here is really important. And what's also very important is to make it simple and clear. Your communication should be so simple that it can be understood by a 5-year-old. Don't try to use smart lingo, complex words that only people in your industry are going to understand. Use words that anyone can understand and test it with a 5-year-old. I do that often. I have friends who have young children. I ask them, do you understand that? What do you understand when you read this? That's a great test. Here is the elevator pitch for Tom's shoes. They say, improving lives with every product you purchase. Tom's will help a person in need, 1 for 1. Clear, right? Easy to understand. So, so if you have something now that you think potentially could be too complex for everyone to understand, revisit it and adjust it as need be. All right, and then once you've done all this work, you can finally let your personality shine. And what does that mean, letting your personality shine? You can now spread it to everything you do in marketing, everything that is customer focused, customer centered. You should now use whatever you have found, your key communication points, your new headlines, your new calls to action, your differentiators, how you solve their problems. That should be solving everything in your communication and used across the board. Consistency is key in marketing, but more than consistency, what is key in marketing is repetition. because most people start to react after message number 7. But yet most marketers give up after message number 3. So repetition and consistency is going to make a big difference here, and bring about, you know, the amount, the networking, create the networking, and create the amplitude and the sharing of your message that you want to see, especially now with social media. Of course, we've had social media for years now, but I do a lot of work using LinkedIn to generate leads. LinkedIn is a growing platform right now where everybody goes, at least professionals go, because it's a platform they trust. And I've had incredible results using LinkedIn lead generation for my clients, because we repeat the message over and over and over again with the same look and feel, with the same type of messaging, with the same type of brand personality. It works. Repetition works, yet most people don't do it. So think about that. Implement repetition in your messages. Okay, so I think that's the last slide. So this is what I would like to leave you with here. People now need us, marketers, need you as a person, need you as a company to be real. They see through the BS, excuse my French. They want you to be authentic. They want you to be believable. I see so many commercials now on TV, and one of them drives me nuts, and it's the pillow guy and the mattress guy. I see him too much, and he used to be real. I don't see him real anymore. Mike, the pillow guy, I'm sure you know him. And his commercials now are becoming so irritating to me that each time I see him, I turn off the TV, because it does not resonate with me anymore. It used to work a couple of years ago. I think it does not work anymore. So you need to be able to be showing your real self as a company, as an individual, so that you can connect with people, because this is what they need more and more. If you are able to be real and authentic and genuine with full transparency, you're going to attract crowds, and you will attract the right crowds. And that's going to generate a huge effect on your sales, on your network growth, and on your believability as a company or as an individual. So my end words here are those: help me help you, and those around you be real. Something that I love doing, that's my specialty, and I will ask, like I said before, I will ask the tough questions so that you can get there. Thank you so much. This is what I have for today. I hope this was helpful.
Thank you for that presentation. Yeah, and if you want to just leave your contact information up on the screen while we finish out for about the last 5 minutes here, that way everybody in the audience can contact you if they want to reach out for a new business venture or even update their current model, as you were talking about. So some comments here from the audience. I have one for you, Catherine. It says, we need to find our niche in the marketplace and don't worry about the competition. Just do our best and keep the trust of the customer. Any thoughts?
Well, finding your niche is important. And yeah, I mean, that's one point of view that I can respect. I still believe, though, that it's important to know what the competition is doing. But the niche is the first thing that you need to figure out, for sure. Because that will, if the niche is strong enough, or if the niche is the right niche, then you will be evolving in the right environment. So it's very important, but I still think having a good understanding of your competitive landscape is important.
We have a comment saying, thank you, great presentation.
Thank you very much, you're welcome.
And still going through all the comments and questions here. Looks like we've covered everything, so I guess we'll just end it on that and leave it on that. And thank you, everybody who's been a part of this today. And maybe if you're interested, we can do something like this again in the future.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish I had my video work, but it was a pleasure to be here today.
Awesome. Good having you. Thank you, and you have a great weekend.
Likewise, take care. Bye-bye.